Welcome to Mississippi Live Weather 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpond here on what is been a fairly stormy sort of day so far. You can see some of the forecast rainfall. We'll talk more about that coming up here in a couple minutes, but we expect that to be pretty significant over the course of the next couple of days, and in some cases could lead to some flooding rainfall potential for a few locations. You know, it's already late to a soggy day for people all around the state. Here's an example of down in Pearl. This video coming to us from Nikki, who sent it in. Saltillo baseball down there in a rain delay earlier on. That since has been lifted as that game progressed, and Saltillo ended up winning that one. We'll have a little bit of video coming up from that game 2 in that 3-game series downstate coming up here in a couple minutes. Another shot here of that rain delay in Pearl from our Will Kohlmeyer, who's down there calling some of the games at the state championship this evening. So the headline this evening, pretty simple. We are in a rain delay down there in Pearl, or at least were earlier on, but we are non-severe with any sort of active weather that we do have down there. And that'll be the case, I think, the next couple of days. Rainy for graduation. I think that could be a potential out there for some of us to have some rainfall over the next couple of days during graduation time in the evening, unfortunately. As we look toward Memorial Day, does the pattern let up at all? We're, of course, tracking that coming up. Of course, over the course of the next 12 hours here, we're at 78 there at 6 p.m., 72 by 9, 69 as look toward midnight under what should be, again, rainy conditions. Much like last night, it's not impossible to have some power outages, but most of these storms below severe limits. It's just we have weakened trees after the ice storm. I think that's the reason why Oxford in particular had so many of those last night. Some gusty winds will have those, but not necessarily true severe 55, 60, 65 mile per hour winds. Technically 58 and greater will qualify as a severe thunderstorm. But of course, a thunderstorm nonetheless right now out in the Macon area. That camera bouncing around a little bit at 84 degrees, the temperature there as the winds kind of picking up somewhat, and pretty much in the rainfall right there in the Starkville area as well. 72 current temperature as of this hour. Appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, our partners across this camera network, and outside in Aberdeen, kind of in between some of the heavier showers at this moment, where we have some of those just a little bit back out of the area. Pretty much a front smack dab overhead, the focal point for the active weather that we have seen for today. And looking on Mama Justice Doppler again, that's slowly slipping eastward. We're going to independently track a lot of these storms come up here in a couple minutes. But I think the overall headline, we expect we'll continue to have at least some showers and thunderstorms through this evening into tonight. As you can see, fairly widespread showers out there. Rumbles, yes. Severe weather, no. But because this front's going to continue to stay parked overhead, we'll continue to have rain chances through your Thursday into Friday and likely Saturday in this upcoming weekend as well. I think in some cases, again, probably timing out to impact a lot of your plans. Over the next 24 hours, as you'll notice, our hour by hour keeps the storms popping up throughout. Not a washout for everybody, but some locations, as we kind of alluded to a minute ago, 4 or 5 inches easily on the table over the next 6 to 7 days, maybe slightly lesser amounts in the shorter term. And we'll look at that here in a minute. But 79, we're going by noontime tomorrow. We're 82 degrees by 3 p.m., 81 as we look towards 6. And those rain chances, as you can see, kind of ramping back up even into tomorrow evening. Now in 60 seconds, we're going to go city by city, looking at Mama Justice Doppler radar, tracking the rainfall that we have out there, and look toward those forecasts for graduation and Memorial Day as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center in 60 seconds.
How did you sleep last night? Find better sleep at Room to Room's Memorial Day sale. King mattresses starting at $4.99, up to $1,000 off Beauty Rest and $1,200 off Heirloom. Plus, find the newest sensations in Nectar mattresses. Sleep better, live better, and save more. Only at Room to Room Tupelo.
How do you know if your roofer is actually telling you the truth or just trying to sell you something you don't need? I'm Chris with Absolute Restoration. When we come out, we don't tell you what's wrong. We show you with photos, videos, and documentation. You'll see exactly what we see so you can make your own decision. And we back our work with a 50-year warranty and a 25-year algae warranty. Plus, no cost upgrades with 0% financing and no payment for 6 months.
Can I ask a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog, but she's little.
Do you have any unlocked guns around the house?
We do have a gun, but it's stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access. Appreciate you asking.
Yeah, of course.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lawpond.
Welcome back into Mississippi Live weather here at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. We did the thing, Gabe. You know what we did? We loaded in too many videos again. Scenes. I'm going to bring Gabe's audio up here for a second. We did it, didn't we?
I believe so. Well, hang on. It looks like it might be coming back.
As choppy as it looks back there?
It's buffering into the current image. I think we've sped up enough to where you're back.
That's a whole thing. Got to remember, we got too many videos on there. Hey, you know what? Let's look at one of those videos right now as we go out in West Point, a time lapse from a little earlier on. And this shot here with our North Mississippi Storm Chasers camera there as well. Just kind of some of the cool clouds, a lot of different motion at different levels in some of these clouds here showing up earlier on. You can even see, if I zip this ahead just a little bit more, there's a spot right there kind of where the power lines are going toward the horizon. Look at that gray right above the horizon. That's probably a little bit of gusty wind, kind of above pretty much where the T in West Point is there. Anyway, kind of a cool shot from our camera there a little bit earlier on. A camera shot here in the Oxford area as it looks like my lips match up. We'll have to get that video out of the show here in a minute, but looking good out there in Oxford at this time. Hey, Lafayette County, glad to have you on with us here on Mississippi Live in the Room to Room Weather Center. Just some lighter variety showers in and around the Oxford area. They're stronger up here closer to Senatobia and Sledge and Coldwater. Our camera up there, pretty much in the thick of it as well, in the rainfall in Crenshaw. Showing up 79 degrees right now. Again, lots of dark clouds. You're going to see tons of those. We've transitioned to a semi-Florida pattern. And so dark does not mean bad. Dark just means tall and heavy. And so we're going to have the heavy rainfall. In some cases, it'll be kind of borderline flooding rainfall because of how quickly it falls. Sometimes over the next week, we're going to have flash flooding issues. And from time to time, we're going to have regular flooding issues if we just get the sustained amounts. So don't be at all shocked. That is our biggest impact that we'll probably have going forward over the next few days here. On Mama Justice Doppler radar, we'll put this onto a 1-hour loop back here for Hernando, back toward Marks. Not a ton of movement on this. I'll say gliding eastward. Maybe that's over going, but we're thinking only maybe about 10 miles per hour or so for the movement on this. But this is our eventual rain chances that will move farther east over the next few hours. So I'm just going to track this at an absurdly long distance here to give you an idea of farther east when the next, if this kind of wave moves in, sort of when it is arriving for locations east. The thought is that if you're going to have something heavier, maybe arguably stronger, it's going to be kind of from this batch here. So Senatobia 517, but, Oxford might take all the way to 7 o'clock before this gets to you. Batesville 6 o'clock or so, 6:10, Water Valley 7:30, all the way to Blue Mountain there, closer to the 9 o'clock hour, Takapola. So it's going to take some time for this to move east because of just how slow these showers and thunderstorms are going here. When we look at this, and I'll bring it back in just a little bit more and check our severe threats here, we don't even have hardly any of the purples for even the possible hail showing up. I think that, again, is the story. If you look at the area as a whole, heavy rainfall remains the most likely impact that we could see. There's only a couple areas here where maybe it's heavy enough we could see 1 or 2 little hailstones. That batch there moving through the Golden Triangle one that we do need to analyze a little bit closer here. So it's coming slightly closer, and we'll change this back over to the regular version of Mama Justice Doppler radar near Penns and Crawford. We check the wind. It's not over the top. A little bit of gusty wind possibly lifting northeastward with this here, but I don't see any rotation of concern. We're not talking tornadoes out of what we have out here for today. So we'll bring it on the current scan. Let's go ahead and track this ahead here for a moment. Hey, go ahead. One of you go ahead and slide the door there shut if you would. We're on live if we could. Appreciate that. Kids are excited to be out of school. We're going to try to be a little quieter about that if we could. But this batch here, we'll say maybe 15 to 18 miles per hour, probably moving a little faster than some of those others. So this going there toward Artesia at 516. We're looking at Mayhew 527 there. West Point about 551. We've already had obviously some rain showers there, and we already have one pretty much over top of West Point right now. So it's just a reminder that these are thankfully non-severe, not a ton of lightning with these as well, as they're just kind of generally kind of swishing around the main little wave moving through right now. So on the wider shot, let's take that, kind of analyze where we go from here. Because the thing is that when we get into this kind of a pattern, a lot of times we have to just kind of look and see what's out there and kind of look upstream for what is the next big thing. So I'll make this surface map over the last 6 hours here. And you can see how the last 6 hours we've had this front kind of moving on in. And the Gulf of Mexico is wide open, so then it's just a matter of when does the next wave try to arrive. And so overnight, this is the one that'll be lifting up here. And so as long as this front sticks around in some form or fashion, the rain chances will as well. So we'll kind of come back over here and look at your graduation forecast for really the next 3 days. And congratulations, graduates. You're going to have rain fall tomorrow, probably around for a lot of those graduations. Probably a pretty decent chance again for Friday and Saturday. Temperatures, we went 5 p.m. as the temperature here. Obviously, different spots. It's going to be different times. But unfortunately, rainfall all the way into this graduation weekend, this holiday weekend, is likely something that we'll experience. I mentioned this a minute ago. Let's kind of walk day by day through those chances. Next couple of days, rainfall amounts could exceed 2 inches for quite a few spots. The locations in yellow we're showing here, locations where that really very possibly is the case. We look beyond that, though, to the 5-day stretch, and there's a lot of spots where we have oranges on here. And I will say that this is probably somewhat underdone when we start looking at the highest resolution modeling, and we'll get into that a little more at 6. But this is kind of a broad brush area to say widespread amounts of 2 inches or more possible over the next 5 days, and localized amounts 5 to 6 or more inches, certainly a possibility. So fortunately for our drought conditions, unfortunately for your Memorial Day plans, we're going to have rainfall for a large chunk of the next upcoming few days here. Outside in Boonville right now, kind of in between showers. We're 79 degrees on those south winds at this point in Prentiss County. Good evening to y'all up there in the Boonville area. As we check out our camera then in West Point, as we were looking at one of those, that time lapse a little bit ago, the rainfall back over top of you. The one nice thing is that it does cool down a little bit, but you have that summertime stickiness that we can't avoid because of all the moisture out there. So Futurecast continue to show that batch of storms. Remember the ones we were tracking a minute ago back there stretching closer to Senatobia and Clarksdale? This is about where it has that line, New Albany back toward Oxford and out closer to Water Valley and Greenwood by, say, 9 p.m. This evening. Whittling down, becoming less intense at that point. As we lose the heating of the day, even the heaviest storms become a little less heavy. We'll have some rumbles overnight. Notice I again have one heading right toward West Point there, 2 o'clock in the morning. So could we have some power disruptions? Yes. Are we talking severe weather out of this? No. Of course, we'll be tracking this with our meteorologist, Kittle Bettelblut, tomorrow morning, starting at 6:30 a.m. on Mississippi Live Weather this morning. Low temperatures for tomorrow morning, going to be somewhere in the middle to, in some cases, upper 60s, but mid-60s, more common. And that's pretty much right on what we expect for this time of year, that normal at 62. Your school day forecast starting to run out of these school days, only a couple left. IMPC, appreciate them for being our sponsor of the school day forecast. And Gabe's got a nice pool day forecast worked up for you. Hopefully we'll have that for you certainly the first of next week, and we'll start showing that. 66, that drop-off temperature. We're 77 by lunchtime and lower 80s by the conclusion of your school day. And yes, rainfall will be around. Notice some thunderstorms. And I need to be clear here. Someone, I think, emailed us in the last 24 hours like, do I need to keep my kids home Wednesday because of storms? The kids need to go to school the last couple of days that they can. And so if we're looking at Thursday here, we're going to have some rumbles, yes, but there's no severe weather out of any of these thunderstorms. A greater coverage of storms showing up, though, by noontime here, and kind of similar today. There could be some gusty winds, maybe some sporadic tree damage from that, but this is not a tornado threat. This is not overall a severe weather threat. It's just if you get enough precipitation loaded into the column of air, it drops enough that you can get these areas where we do get sporadic strong wind gusts. That's more the exception to the rule. By 3 p.m., though, still showing the greatest likelihood to see some of those out here closer to Bruce and Houston, Grenada. I've been talking to folks down there in Chickasaw County about their graduation tomorrow. Linda Griffin down there have been asking me since last week about it. Unfortunately, Linda, we're going to have rainfall and thunderstorms around. Maybe not directly overhead. Again, Futurecast close-ish on this. But the takeaway is I wouldn't feel comfortable if I were in Boone, or Water Valley, or Grenada, or Clarksdale. I think that we're going to have some pop-up thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, and somebody's going to roll the dice and get lucky enough to be dry, and somebody is obviously not, because there's still going to be a lot of those showers and thunderstorms out there. High temperatures, mid-80s to lower 80s, which is almost exactly what we expect for this time of year, to 82 in Water Valley, 83 degrees Eupora, Louisville, 84 degrees in Starkville, and 80 in South Haven, 82 in Clarksdale. So that front does start lifting a little farther northward into tomorrow evening. And notice a greater increase in some of the rain chances. When we showed that on the hour by hour, might have glossed over that, but the rain chances increasing into tomorrow evening as a pretty stout wave of moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico lifts northward and through the area. Now notice it kind of whittles away as we head into the overnight hours, but I think tomorrow early evening to late evening, probably I guess that'd just be evening, we're going to have some heavier showers and thunderstorms mixing in, kind of a heavier wave lifting through the area. And then some more of these, again, back out here into Arkansas and down closer to the Meridian area as well. 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, early Friday. So showers still around there. Caleb's still tracking those at that point. Maggie must have picked a good week there to avoid all these showers. She'll be back next week on Mississippi Live this morning. But Caleb's in Friday morning as well at 66 there in Grenada, 68 degrees in Greenwood, 69 Belzona to start the day. Mid to upper 60s, a lot of spots. As again, that front has lifted northward. And that means we have a wide open Gulf of Mexico where some of the Gulf of America, Gulf. We're looking at those spotty showers and storms again, a possibility to see a few of those that are somewhat heavy. But as you can see, maybe just a little bit more spotty in nature by Friday midday. Notice by afternoon, again, another heavier wave moving through. So it's just kind of wave upon wave of heavier rainfall that sometimes includes thunderstorms. As we find ourselves just in this, again, wide open warm sectors, we'd say, because we're south of the warm front up here. The Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America, the Gulf is just wide open to allow moisture to move northward into our area. The temperatures fairly warm into this upcoming weekend, and as we have a couple waves move in late Friday, we talked about this for the graduation stuff a minute ago. It definitely looks like we're going to be fairly soggy again into Friday. Late in the day. High temperatures expected to be in the lower 80s to maybe mid 80s some spots. We just have as much rain as we have. Temperature just can't increase enough. You hit a temperature, what we call the convective temperature, where you start popping up storms, and then storms pop up, and then rain cools off a little bit, and then more storms pop up. So low 80s to maybe upper 70s out there for Friday. We're at 60% on that rain coverage, as you saw second half of the day in particular, when we got a pretty good little moving in. And then into the weekend, maybe slightly more limited for your Saturday. Rain coverage at 60% for Sunday. Looking toward Memorial Day, we're at 40% rain coverage. Each of the next probably 5 to 6 days or so, temperatures low 80s for highs. And you hit that perfect temperature, we pop up showers and thunderstorms. So in a lot of ways, this is a fairly summer-like weather forecast that we have developed over the course of the next week or so. I'm going to pop out our chat for folks behind the scenes want to know about Gulfport and Pontotoc. Behind the scenes, Gabe, I'm going to ask you real quick here as I pop up our 2 box for a moment. Do we have the updated forecast for the games? And I don't know if Gabe can hear me. There you are. Do we have the updated forecast for the baseball games down in Pearl?
In Pearl and Hoover. So we have all of our college and high school action.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up the baseball, and then I'll show that, and then I'll let you talk over some of the baseball video. Do we have those in?
Yes, it's up there in the sports section if you want to pull that up. But yes, we do have.
I'll let you pull it up. I'm gonna and I will. I'll show the forecast, and then I'll let you pull up some of the highlights and that kind of stuff. So
Sounds good.
When you're ready, I'll let you pop that up. Sound good?
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. So I'll kind of bring in here, and then again, this is our forecast, and this shows Wednesday night. Let's have that update there for your Thursday forecast. No, that did not up. Oh, because I clicked high school baseball, not state baseball championship. Let's go ahead and pop those two in there. Okay, now we're ready. A lot of baseball is coming at you here, and a lot of baseball still to be played. Again, a game 3 for Saltillo, additional games for a lot of our area teams still competing for state championships, and earlier games are more likely to be dry, but there's still going to be showers and thunderstorms around early. 20% that rain coverage for Saltillo's game at 10 a.m. 1 p.m. West Union there playing. Better chances for rainfall going into the afternoon by the time East Webster goes there at 4 p.m. And again, this would have been the Oxford game tonight down there in Pearl. Nope. Hold on. Let's bring Gabe back up for just a second here. What you got, Gabe?
Well, the perks of having so many graphics is some graphics might not get changed to the next day. So this is supposed to be Thursday at 7 p.m. And so we do need to get that adjusted there behind the scenes, but I don't think it matters if you change it to 7
We're
p.m.
having a show today, aren't we, Gabe?
Oh my word, I apologize.
Is today Wednesday? Hump day? No, I'm not bringing it back. Nobody's done that in a while, and I'm sorry I was the one that did that to you.
Between that and 6-7, we're just the Mimi channel by then.
Oh, don't go 6-7. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the other graphic. I'm gonna show this, and then you're gonna show Saltillo, and I'll let you talk about that here in a second. So I'll bring it back to me. But yeah, they are going to be down there in Pearl, and Gabe has again some of the video coming in from that earlier on today. Their celebration, not a state championship, but working a little bit closer to it.
Yeah, Matt, this was as Saltillo won Game 2 down in Pearl. Game 2, a pivotal game because they lost Game 1. So now heading into that Game 3 matchup going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m., hopefully taking down, I believe it's Pearl River Central, the Blue Devils down there, them being the South Half champions. But that Game 3 at 10 a.m. tomorrow should be a great matchup. Congratulations to Saltillo on a pivotal win. Hopefully carry that momentum moving into tomorrow.
Man, excited for them. Appreciate our Will Kohlmeyer down there calling a lot of the games down in Pearl. And so sending us that video of Saltillo's win tonight. Be a pivotal Game 3 on the way again for tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we're looking forward to that. And we'll have the SEC baseball forecast for you coming up during our 6 o'clock broadcast as well. Coming up at 6, we'll also be looking at some of the high resolution modeling on where we could have some really high rainfall totals, kind of an early look that will help us to judge where flooding becomes more of a possibility. That's coming up during our 6 o'clock broadcast here on Mississippi Live Weather. I'll go and pop up those show times again for you there as 5, 6, 9, and 10, where we're on each night, and 6:37 and 7:30 a.m. here in the Room to Room Weather Center. Keep it here for the latest, and we'll keep you advised.